Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of SWAC Then SWAC Now. And you hear that wonderful music in the background, and guess what, bless so, as the late, great Dean Bowden used to say, and it's homecoming. How you doing, Blesso?
Homecoming it is, man. Waiting on them Grambling Tigers, the other set of Tigers that's coming in this weekend, and we're going to see how we can manage handling them this weekend. Tonight we have a different type of Tiger on tonight. So tell us about that new Tiger that we dealing with tonight, though.
Man, we have no other than Rodney Phillips. Played 6 years in the NFL, 2 years with the Rams. Well, no, 4 years with the Rams and 2 years with the Cardinals. Hey, great guy, great family guy. Got a chance to meet him, meet he and his wife a few years ago, and been great friends ever since. So let's bring on Jackson State great Rodney Phillips.
Yeah, turn it up.
Rod Phillips in the house.
Yes, sir.
Well, we were just talking about two Braves having a Tiger hemmed up. Now, we got them Grambling Tigers this weekend, but we got some other Tigers to deal with further down the line. And you one of them that we got hemmed up tonight, so we're going to deal with you tonight.
Yeah, I've been hemmed up before.
Yes, sir.
I've been down on the reservation.
Yeah.
In a Tiger uniform.
But we can tell you've been hemmed up before.
Right. I want to ask you this question: Do you sleep in the purple and gold Alcorn shirt? I know that was your first love.
I don't think I have a purple shirt.
Oh, okay. You know, he could do us like that, man. Can you believe that?
No, but I got some love in my heart for you. Yeah, because I was almost a Brave.
Wow. Well, Rodney, tell us that story, man. Tell us that story. How did you almost became a Brave and then ended up at Jackson State? And I think you maybe had to stop between Alcorn and Jackson State.
Yeah, I actually signed the conference letter of intent with Alcorn coming out of high school. Both of my coaches, well, actually 3 of my coaches in high school were Alcorn alumni. So, and then Theo Dansby came down to recruitment. You know, he's one hell of a talker. So, you know, and then I went down and, I was a country boy. And they had this milk machine in the cafeteria. And they said, man, you like milk? Oh, yeah, you can drink all you want. Just drink that machine dry. It had milk coming out of the machine. So, you know, I did. I fell in love temporarily with Alcorn. But then came along Rod Page. Rod Page was at the University of Cincinnati. And he was a little bit smoother and more eloquent. And so the bright lights of the city and Rod Page persuaded me to sign with the University of Cincinnati. And that's where I went and spent a year there. But all the time I was there, I kept looking around for all that love, all that brotherhood that I used to see when my dad took me to Jackson State games, because my mother and my father are JSU graduates. So missing that, and you know, we were outnumbered like 15 to 1 on campus. I mean, we meaning black, white. And I was looking for a wife. So, you know, I there was nobody there I wanted to take home to my mother. So all of that made me decide that, you know, Cincinnati wasn't the place for me. But I had to prove that I could stay there, that I could make it there. So it took. I had a great spring, scored a touchdown in the spring game. So after that, I felt like I could play there if I wanted to. It was my choice not to go back. So Marino Castle would not talk to me. I tried to come back to the reservation, but Marino Castle would not talk to me. Bob Hill was going into his first year. He had seen me play in high school, and he welcomed me with open arms. So the rest is history.
So what you're telling us is that milk at Alcorn was a little bit sweeter, so that's why you came back.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got around to the water. The water may have sealed the deal. I don't know.
So
Yeah,
Rodney, I have a couple of questions for you relative to your brief stay at Cincinnati. I want to compare the two. Your brief stay at Cincinnati versus your first year at Jackson State. What was the main difference? I know you talked about looking for a wife, and Jackson State would have that for you versus Cincinnati. But what was the real difference once you got on campus?
I will tell you. I don't want to tell you, but I will tell you. It was the culture. I had a class, a literature class, and the professor had the nerve to say to the whole class, and I was probably the only black face in the class. He said, we were reading these stories, and he said, Black people are not qualified or are unable to write about the Black plight, about the suffering, because he's, in his words, they're too close to it. It takes a white writer to describe that and to write about it. And I felt insulted. I felt belittled, and I felt like if this is what the professors are going to be filling my head with at this institution, then this is not the place for me. It's not where I want to be. So that was the major thing. Yeah. Of course, the facilities were much better there. They had everything: indoor practice fields and weight rooms, elaborate. But the culture was not the same. I couldn't walk across campus and see brothers and sisters fellowshipping.
So in Cincinnati, you didn't see the afros and the bell bottoms, is what you're saying.
Here and there were too far in between.
So what's some of your earliest memories about playing at JSU? Your earliest memories? I know you came back from Cincinnati. You decided you went out there. Bob Hill was the coach his first year. So what was that experience like?
Well, Bob Hill was tough. We worked harder. We had more contact was, every day, all day. Okay, we hit a lot. But I'm gonna tell you, the first player that impressed me was actually Robert Brazil. Now let me tell you who's on that team. There was another freshman named Walter Payton who I'd seen play in the All-Star game, the Mississippi high school All-Star game. And he was impressive. He was a great running back. But Robert Brazil was recruited to Jackson State to play tight end. So he was, when he got in the lineup, I mean, when he went through practice and through drills, he acted like the football was the enemy. He was batting it away. Because he really didn't want to play tight end. He wanted to play defense. He wanted to play linebacker. They put him at linebacker, and he was knocking everybody out. I mean, that was an impressive. There was nobody at Cincinnati in his class, or Walter's class, or I can name a few more that outclassed the level of players at Cincinnati. I'm gonna tell you, we had some ball players.
So,
Well, Rodney,
so
how many times did you guys win the SWAC during your playing career at Jackson State?
Well, I was able to participate 3 years. We won a share of the SWAC twice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Jackie Slater was also on that team.
Yeah, he wasn't there the freshman year, but my senior year, we had Jackie Slater, Walter Payton, and Robert Brazil.
Okay.
Were all in NFL Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Presently, yeah.
Well, Rodney, were you at Jackson State? Can you tell me about? Can you give me your version of the fight, or you don't want to get into that, or was that ahead of your time, or
that really was ahead of my time? But I was at the game.
oh, really?
Yeah, I was a high school.
I've heard the Alcorn version, and I want to hear the Jackson State version now.
Well, I being a high schooler at the time and being up in the stands, I don't personally know all the ins and outs, but I've heard the story, probably hundreds of times, and it goes like, there were two footballs that you could play with, one with stripes, one without. Okay, Marino says we're going to play with this non-stripe ball. So he took it out to the official. And Bob came up. I said, we ain't playing with that ball. We're playing with this stripe ball. And Marino says, looked at Bob and say, when I want to talk to you, I'll pull your chain. And Bob went berserk. And I guess it all went downhill from there.
But what was the rule? Does the home field pick what ball you play with, or how does that go?
The home team is supposed to pick the ball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but Marino was the godfather, so
yeah,
he had a lot of influence. So I guess he expected it then. So and I don't know Rod Page, and that's actually the way he told the story. Rod Page, I mean, actually, Rod may have been a little more diplomatic, but he didn't. He unleashed his tiger. That was Bob Hill.
Yeah. Wow.
So Rodney, you brought up Robert Brazil earlier as being a different type of player when you came on. How did that influence you? Did that influence you to say, "Hey, man, I got to be serious because this dude here"? Yeah.
Well, I had to block him every day.
Right.
And more than once a day. And he wasn't the only one. There was another linebacker named John Tate. And when I say this, a lot of people don't believe it. One thing, John Tate was more physical than Robert Brazil. Brazil was a better athlete, more speed and agility. But John Tate, man, that's what he was about. Hit.
Well, I have a homeboy, and he swears up and down that John Tate was the better linebacker than Brazil.
I'm not gonna go that far.
And he says that the Brazil Augusta Lee fiasco is the one that got Brazil to the NFL. I said, well, I don't know about that neither, but
no, both of them were great athletes, and I think the only reason that John didn't play as long, he got drafted.
Let me see it. Oh. Yeah, so Rodney, quick question about your college experience on the campus of Jackson State. So, before we get to the NFL, I want to understand what's happening on Lynch Street.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us your experience on campus.
Well, I met this beautiful lady in music appreciation my first year at Jackson State. And I said to myself, and I didn't say to her, I'm gonna marry her. So I chased her around for a couple of years. You know.
Did she run from you?
No, she didn't run too fast.
Okay, you
She
were
ran,
chasing.
she ran a little bit.
Okay, all right.
She ran a little bit. But I found we wound up being in the same class a whole bunch of times. And then I think the class that really sold us, brought us together, was theatrical presentation. And in that class, a person had to write an essay and deliver it to the class, convincing them of whatever the subject matter in the essay was. And she talked about her Volkswagen car, and it was captivating to me, and so I used that to persuade her to let me ride with her in her car, and that was it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we done turned from SWAC Then to a love story.
Well, you asked
the Rodney Phillips love story
on campus.
Yeah,
that's what stood out to me.
Okay.
And then I had my days pledging the fraternity.
Okay. What fraternity was that?
Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you went from finding the love of your life to pledging.
To pledging, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you got ready for the NFL, what were some of the things that you did to prepare yourself for that next level?
You know what? It's interesting. Let me say this: as I came to Jackson State as a running back, my first year there, I told you we hit all the time.
Right.
Yeah, we hit even in pregame. So that was a Friday practice, which is generally a walkthrough, but we were doing goal line. And the starting tight end broke his leg, got his leg broke. Coach said, "Philip, come down here and get a tight end." Next day, I was the starting tight end. So, and that was about the 6th game of the year. We were playing Texas Southern. And from that point on, to the end of my career, I was the starting tight end. But I would play fullback, halfback, tight end, and slot receiver during the course of every game. Just about, we were running back university at the time, because we had Walter Payton, Ricky Young, Joe Lowry, myself, my brother Arthur, and let's see who else we had. I can't think of his given name. We call him John Shaft, though. John Ely. So all of us were capable of running backs, and a little bit more than capable, most of us.
Rodney, who were some of those offensive linemen that were on that team besides Slater?
There was Emmanuel Sanders.
He played in the NFL, right, with the Saints,
played
right?
In the NFL with the Saints. He's in the Saints Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Edgar Hardy. He had a stint with the San Francisco 49ers. Benny Williams. He played with. I can't remember who he played with, and several others I can't think of. But there were others that played with, like Seattle, offensive lineman that played with Seattle's Seahawks for a lot of years. Larry Smith. He didn't go further, but he played center. He was a house.
How many How many
played
guys
with
off
the
that?
Saints.
How many guys off that team played in the league?
My senior year, there were 7 of us that made teams.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as a college player getting ready to go to the NFL, was there a preference of what team you wanted to be drafted to or go to try out with? Was there a preference for you?
Well, I wanted to get in the door because I went undrafted.
Right.
But my favorite team in that day was Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
And
So are they still your favorite team?
excuse me, not now, but 8
Hell
now.
to the no. Huh?
Yeah, the Cowboys have been a thorn for me. My rookie, well, let me say this: I was sitting in a restaurant. Was an undrafted player. The New England Patriots were the first team that offered me a contract. I was sitting in a restaurant with one of the personnel from New England, and a person from the Cowboys came in and got the blind side of the New England guy and told me not to sign. I knew who he was, so yeah, Cowboys want to talk. So I put the guy off and eventually signed with the Cowboys. But when I went down to minicamp, took the physical, and at the end of the physical, I had done well. At the end of the physical, the doctor asked me, "Is there anything else we need to know about?" And naive me, I said, "Well, I had a shoulder separation my senior year. I played with it though." So he went back and looked at it, and then he came back and well, let me say it let me do it like this. He didn't tell me anything. The next day, we went to the facility, and they told us, we got off the bus, and they say, walk around the locker room, look for your name. And I walked around the locker room, but didn't see my name. I walked around again and didn't see my name. So I asked the equipment man, I don't see my name. If you don't see your name, go talk with the trainer. I went and talked with the trainer, and he told me that the doctor said I had a potential for arthritis, and they were not going to keep me. So I didn't even get to go out on the practice field. So that was hurtful. I was devastated. But I wound up getting an opportunity to go with the Rams. Undrafted free agent, going with a team that made it to the NFC Championship game the year before. But I made the team. And my first year, we make it back to the NFC Championship game. And who do we face? The Dallas Cowboys. Needless to say, I lost. I lost the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. Okay, we get back next year. We went to that game. My 4 years in Los Angeles, we played in the NFC Championship game every year. Lost every time. Lost twice to the Cowboys. Lost twice to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, Minnesota didn't never win anything.
No.
So you talked about the Rams. Coach was Chuck Knox.
Chuck Knox, Ground
Chuck.
Chuck.
Tell me a little bit about Chuck.
My favorite coach. He believed in the running game, and he liked me.
Hold
So
on. Your favorite coach?
my favorite
Bob
coach.
Hill.
Yeah.
Bob Hill wasn't in there.
Bob Hill was not my favorite coach.
Okay.
Bob Hill was very instrumental in my development because he taught me that I could do more than I thought I could do. I could play harder. I could just do more.
Okay.
Then I could work harder. I could go farther than I thought I could go. That was tremendous. But I like the way Chuck would explain things. His motivation, his philosophies. That was a guy named Hacksaw Reynolds. You may have heard of him. He was the middle linebacker.
Yeah, I remember the name.
Yeah, he was a student of the game. He was undersized, not very fast, but wherever the ball showed up, he would show up because he studied, and he would always take notes of Chuck Knox speeches in the speeches that he would make to the team in team meetings and game speeches. He would write them down, and apparently Chuck was consistent in what he said because Hacksaw could say what he was going to say before he said it, and by referring back to his notes. So that told me two things: that Chuck was consistent, and that Hacksaw was consistent as well. He studied, so that taught me how to be a studious. So when somebody wanted to know something about what the running backs were supposed to do, what the blocking schemes were, they looked to me because I studied. Chuck appreciated that. And the things about blocking that Bob Hill taught me, I brought to the NFL with me. So I played hard every day. And
so what was your favorite game?
My favorite game
that you
Monday Night Football.
Okay.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. That was the first game that I got to start. And my performance that night got me the award of Southern California Player of the Week. And I was, my picture, there it is. Right there. My picture was on the front of the sports page in the LA Times. So that was my big moment.
So that was your 15 minutes. Because they say everybody get that 15 minutes. That was your 15 minutes.
That was my 15 minutes of fame. Yeah.
So you left the Rams and went to the Cardinals, right?
Yes.
So tell us about that experience.
Well, two different cultures. The Rams were about business. Everybody was intent on in practice. We didn't practice a long time. We didn't do we did our fair share of hitting because we were a running team. So you gotta have contact. But most of the hard work was done, in the on the chalkboard, in the chalk room, in the meeting rooms. Yeah, you had to know. They didn't allow mistakes. When I got to St. Louis, it was a lot different. It was the intensity. The intense unit was the offensive line.
So was Conrad Dobler on that?
Conrad Dobler left the year I got there.
Okay.
I got there the year J.B. Kane tragically died on the practice field. That was the year I got there. Dan Deerdorf was there.
Okay.
I can't remember a lot of these guys' names, but they had a terrific offensive line. I mean, they blocked their behinds off. Yeah. And the rookie running back, first round draft class out of Miami, was O.J. Anderson. They also drafted Theodis Brown out of UCLA. And they were supposed to be the running backs. Well, O.J. Blossom, Theodis not so much. And the culture was different. It was not that. It was not a culture where winning was expected. We would go into games and we jump out front, and guys would look around and say, "How are we gonna lose this one?" Whereas at LA, we could be behind in the fourth quarter and say, "Who's gonna win this one for us? How are we gonna win this? I know we're gonna win.
Right.
I just don't know how yet."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rodney, out of the two teams that you played for in the NFL, which one of those teams had the most HBCU players?
I would say LA.
LA? Okay.
We had Harold Jackson. We had Isaiah Robinson. We had the wide receiver from Alcorn, world record holder, sprinter.
Willie McGee.
Willie McGee. Willie McGee. And I went there with this is embarrassing. An Alcornite who was drafted in the 7th round. I went as a free agent. He didn't make the team. I made it. He played he was a running back. He was 7th round draft choice. I'll think of it in a minute.
What year was that, Rodney?
That was 1975. Anyway.
It wasn't Augusta Lee, was it?
No, not Augusta Lee. Anyway, who else they had? But going to St. Louis, I don't recall any. I think I was the only one, HBCU. They had some other black players, but I was the only HBCU. Roy Green. Roy Green was HBCU. He went to Henderson State.
Okay. Was Willie McGee really the truth? Was he really as fast as people say he was?
Yes. Yeah, he was fast, but he he was fast with us, but he was traded to San Francisco, and he had a devastating injury on that turf up there.
So
in his career.
So right now, I know we've been talking a lot, but let's get down to the nitty gritty here. These battles with these Braves, those Tigers and Braves. Tell us some memorable battles that you had.
It's strange you bring that up. The last year, my closest friend in the world, Dr. Bridges. We were. I went to the game with him last year, Alcorn Jackson State, and we were walking on Friday night, just walking, viewing the tailgates and stuff. So we walked back across the old field, and I had a flashback. That was my senior year, and Alcorn was having a tremendous year. They had 5 shutouts and were leading the SWAC. And we had a goal line stand. And I remember who scored that touchdown that sealed the victory for Jackson State. So I called it. I was doing a play-by-play. It's 4th and goal on the 1-yard line. If Alcorn can stop Jackson State on this drive, they're going to win the game. But Jackson State can seal the victory with a score. So I was in the huddle, and I told the quarterback, I said, if you get involved with anybody else, we're gonna lose this game. You got to give it to me. So he called my number. Faked the ball to Walter. Walter is the consummate competitor. I don't care what play, whatever his assignment was to do, he's going to carry it out to the nth degree. So they faked the ball to him, and he leapt over the line. And the linebackers, wow. And he faked it to Walter and turned around and handed the ball to me. And while everybody was saying, no, he didn't get in, I was handing the ball to the official. And he put his hands up, and we won the game.
So I will say this, Rodney. Since you're a guest on this show, I let you finish that damn story. If you wasn't a guest on this show, buddy, we would have cut that out.
Was that the
yeah, that story doesn't go too well.
What was the score of the game? What was the score of the game, Rodney? Was it 7-6 or something like that?
It was pretty close. Yeah, I think so. I
think that may have been the only game that Alcorn lost that year too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they lost them, and the defense had 2 goal line stands as well, and keeping the Braves out. Mm-hmm.
But we were still Black National Champs that year, so
yeah. But and the ironic thing is, Sunday morning I looked in the paper, and it says Walter Payton scores winning touchdown.
So, Rodney, Steve Beard was that running back.
No.
It wasn't Steve Beard? In 75?
Right, it wasn't him.
Oh. Going to St. Louis?
No, going to the Rams. This is 75 to the Rams. He was 7th-round draft choice. I'm going to think of his name.
Rodney, the funny thing, I listened to you tell that story, and it looked like probably 20, 30 years later, the same identical thing happened again in 2014.
Yeah.
There was no way Jackson State was supposed to win that game in 2014 down at Alcorn.
Hey, you know what? You know where I was? I had an interview at halftime on the JSU broadcast. So they let me sit in the press box, and Cassim was there, and all the coaches were there, and the president, and all the dignitaries that usually in the Alcorn press box. And I was in there with my grandson, and I saw that play developing, and I said, he's going to be open. Throw it to him. Yeah. Touchdown. And the crowd, everybody in there turned to me, and I don't know who this lady was, but she said, "Sir, you're embarrassing us." I said, I was just cheering. I know what you were doing, but you were embarrassing us. So my grandson and I politely got up and exited. But we were not expected to win. Alcorn had the best team. Okay, I'll say that. But the best team doesn't always win.
That's true.
See, Mike, you open that up for him to have another
moment.
Moment. Now he done had his 15 minutes. We don't want to give him another damn 15 minutes.
But you know what though? See, we can go to some times. Let's go back to 79. When we had the little kicker, Roberto Rosales, and we there was no way Alcorn should have won that game. We beat Jackson that year, and then I don't know if you remember Rodney in '82 when Cavs came up with the whole week if we don't go, they don't go. Jackson that year, and so it's been kind of like even on both sides in some ways.
Yeah, there's been some great games, and just like I said earlier, the best team didn't always win.
Right.
But you know, whenever we won, we were the best team.
So Rodney, I have a curious question that relates to fandom. Fans back then versus fans now. Was it that in depth back then as it is now? Were you guys calling for y'all coaches like y'all calling for them these days?
No. Back then, it was more like we passed it down. You know, if you were on the staff and you're one of the good coaches on the staff, then the recommendation was made for you to take over. Like from WC to Carson to Robert Hughes. Yes, it passed down.
So hold on. Was Robert Hughes the last one?
Yes, from Robert Hughes, then you know that guy.
Yeah. So that broke that chain.
Mm-hmm.
And so now y'all back on the chain.
Yeah, we can go back even further from you know, I don't know how McPherson got in, but I think he was on the staff of Rod Page. All right. Then he took over, and then from McPherson to Bob Hill to WC to Carson, then Carson to Robert Hughes.
Hold on, you stop. Keep on going.
I can't think of the name of that other guy.
Oh, the other guy.
Guy.
I'm not gonna call his name either.
Came in
So I want to get my 15 minutes of fame. I call his name.
You don't get it out of my mouth.
Yeah. So you guys are going back to that formula. You.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that day is gone.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that day is gone. And you know, if a coach comes off the same staff, then it's because of merit, not because, you know, of some type of misplaced loyalty.
Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, Bob Hill was a pretty doggone good coach. And
Bob Hill was a good coach.
WC was a good coach.
WC was an excellent coach.
Okay.
And they were vastly different. You know, WC wasn't so much a football guy; he was a baseball guy. You know, and but he was a student of the game, and he knew people, and he knew players. He knew who could play, and he surrounded himself with great coaches. You know, Alcorn's some winning Alcorn coaches came from under W.C. Gordon. Some winning Alabama State coaches came from W.C. Gordon's staff.
And Cardell Jones, who was an Alcornite, was on that staff. Houston Morton, who was an Alcornite, was on that staff. So there were quite a few.
Right.
But I don't think the JSU folks realized the greatness of W.C. Gordon until after it was over with.
Well,
because they just really never bought into that wishbone offense.
Right. Well, I won't say they didn't know. They didn't celebrate it.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't give him the recognition. But, you know, many times people don't get their flowers until, you know, it's too late for them to enjoy them.
You mean that guy after Haynes, he didn't get his flowers yet?
You talking about the guy after Hughes? Are you talking
about Hughes? I mean, guy after Hughes, he got his flowers yet?
Yeah. What about that guy that followed Castle? Who came after Castle?
Coach Danzy.
Then Dansby, and who else?
Hey, I know where this I know where this is going. We gonna cut this off because y'all gonna start talking about my homeboy. And that ain't gonna happen.
Well, hey, that's my frat brother. You know, I ain't got nothing bad to say to him at all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he got his flowers though, man. I'll mention his name. He got his flowers. He did a hell of a job for Alcorn State. I
But
mean,
I'm gonna say
you
this.
look at the academic side of our athletes. I mean, he did an excellent job. I won't take that from him.
But
And, sometimes there's a sacrifice.
I'm gonna say this too. Now, I think there's some other things that were in place. The reason why he didn't win, but I'll just leave that alone.
Yeah. Well, you know.
No, because I just say this. At the time, and a lot of Alcornites don't realize this, but Dr. Johnny was the lowest paid coach in the SWAC that year. And I think they only gave him like $35,000 to hire an offensive and defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And Valley had coaches making more than what JT was making. So, but once they hired a good AD, then things start to turn around with Johnny.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to win.
We're gonna cut that part out. We don't want to talk about that in front of the Tiger. We're gonna cut that part out, all right?
Well, you know what? They had some, turbulent years.
Listen.
Well, he ain't talking about him. He ain't calling names. So
yeah, you him up a Tiger, it ain't gonna be easy. A Tiger gonna fight, man. Yeah.
So after you married your lovely wife, did she go on with you to LA?
Yes, sir.
And then to St. Louis?
Yes, sir.
And so then you got on the coaching track, right?
Yeah. Well, after I came out of football, my heart was still tangled up with it. I love it. And so I felt like Jackson State had given so much to me that it was just natural. And WC was there as the head coach, and he was coaching at Jackson State while I was there the whole 4 years. And so I just went and volunteered, ran the scout team, coached running backs, tight ends, and he welcomed me with open arms. And, that was good.
So the question comes from me then is after WC, why wasn't Rod Phillips and they were passing stuff down?
I was not officially on the staff. I was volunteering.
Oh, okay.
I had another job.
Okay. So you were a firefighter at the time?
I was a firefighter, yes.
So talk a little bit about being a firefighter and what that entailed.
Well, teamwork, the same principles, team building and cooperation, all the things that are necessary for football teams to operate smoothly are still there in firefighting. We have to be aggressive at times, and sometimes you have to know when to play defense.
So what are some of your accolades from that journey?
I was firefighter of the year, and I was president of the Black Union, Firefighters Limited. We were able, through a lot of effort, and I modestly say that I was instrumental in having a consent decree come to pass, and that allowed for recruiting and retention of Blacks in the fire service, and promotional practices changed.
Okay. See, Mike, some Jackson State guys did do something, but so tell me about your Jackson State Hall of Fame experience. How was that? I know you were proud. I know your chest was out. All your shoulders were back. Your chin was up.
Yeah. Well, after being unanimous first team all conference 2 years in a row, it took a while though for it to come to be, but they finally made me a JSU Hall of Famer. And yeah, I was proud. I still am.
Yeah, I know your family's proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know you like that. So that experience as a Hall of Famer, what is that like walking on that campus and going to games, being a Hall of Famer? What is that like for you, man? I mean, somebody's got to be saying, man, that guy right there, he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, it ain't like that, but now and again, people remember and they say, yeah. You know what? A great compliment that I got. The SWAC MEAC, Dennis Thomas was being honored as he was going out as commissioner of the MEAC. And I went to that banquet. And I went up and introduced myself. Oh, I know you, Rodney Phillips. You a hell of a ball player. Yeah. That was, to me, that was a tremendous compliment. For him to remember all that time.
Yeah.
And we were on the same side of the ball. It wasn't like he played against me.
Yeah. You know what, Mike? You see how Alkanites give people their flowers no matter where they come from.
well, you know what? I'm willing to bet you probably Rodney the best friends of Alkanite.
He came back out of that one, Mike.
Guilty as charged. Yeah. My other three best friends in life, we were all going together to Alcorn, and I was the one to break the bond. But our friendship still.
So are you telling me that when you accepted that JSU Hall of Fame plaque, that you had on a purple and gold Alcorn T-shirt up under
it? Absolutely not. Look, man. Let me go in my kitchen and get me a knife and show you what color I bleed. Hey, I'm true blue.
I heard that right there. I just, that was a fantastic story that you told earlier about Alcorn in the milk machine. So I was just having a little fun with that, man.
Yeah. But it gets me that Alcornites hate Jackson State, but I do not hate Alcorn. I can't. There's too many ties.
So man, you just threw that out there like that. You threw that out there like that. We hate Jacksonians.
I don't think that's the case, Rodney.
Just Jackson State.
Your best friend is an Alcornite. He hates you.
Man, you know what he says? He says, if Jackson State was playing the Russians, I'd cheer for the Russians.
So I don't want to get into different teams, but I just want to ask the question to you because you might have to answer this. Why does have the in my data I'm noticing now there seems to be a shift in the rivalry from Alcorn being the main to Southern University being the main rival. What's up with that?
Well, I don't know. I think it's Southern came up. You remember when they played their home game in Jackson? When they were repairing their stadium.
Correct.
I think it really started to really blossom during that because their fans came up and were just saying, "This is our time. We're gonna take over." And they came in numbers, and we were kind of during that time we were kind of down, if you recall. Anyway, I think that created some angst. Made us feel some kind of way when you when you're down and you really know you ain't got a chance to fight back because we got what we got and y'all got what y'all got.
Well, Rodney, do you think that Southern is a bigger rivalry to Jackson State than Alcorn, or?
Personally, no.
It's a different type of rivalry, right?
Different type. Yeah, different type. I think it's more bands than football. I think the rivalry between the Human Jukebox and the Sonic Boom is bigger than the rivalry between the Tigers and the Braves.
We won't even get into that. I'm gonna skip over that one. I'm gonna slide over that and go to. So this has been my philosophy. I don't know if it was my philosophy from being an Alcornite. So Southern University has that same deal when they come to Alcorn. They taking over the campus.
Yeah.
And so when they take over the campus, what they fail to realize is they paying at that gate to come in the tailgate. It ain't free.
Right.
So they can just come on, come off. Come on. Because that's the money that we need.
Yeah.
All you Southernites, you hear that? Just come on.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the money we need.
Yeah.
So,
well, we never discouraged that rivalry. Yeah. Because now we're on equal footing.
Yeah.
So we, say, come on. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, winning is cyclical. So it's round and around and around. It's going to be Alcorn for a minute. It's going to be Jackson State for another minute. It might be Southern. It may be now we got FAMU in the group. We got, so there's only a few teams that hadn't been caught up in that cycle.
Yeah.
So it doesn't upset me when it's our turn. I don't want to be in that cycle, but eventually it's going to happen. So,
it's kind of funny though, and I hope I don't get beaten up for saying this, but think about this. During my time, the mid '80s at Alcorn, and I listen to the young people today who really don't know the history, but I would say from 1960 up until 1990, you really had just three teams that was going to win the SWAC. That was Alcorn, Jackson, and Grambling. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And my Southern folks are probably going to shoot me out for saying this, but back during that time, for probably about 30 years, Southern would play Jackson State one year and that 1 week and play Alcorn the following week. And after those two games, their season was done. And we used to we would look at the schedule back then in South Southern, and we would count that like a W, just like Prairie View or Texas Southern or somebody. Well, Southern didn't really get on the scene until Pete Richardson came down there. When Pete Richardson got there in '90, boy, he turned. Hey, that's when they turned that thing around. But how many times did Southern beat Alcorn or Jackson? Probably between 1960 up until 1990. It wasn't. Probably count them all on one hand.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, some of those victories, in my estimation, were not legitimate. Because you go to Southern, and anything liable to happen. You hear gunfire. They turn the lights out. They wet the field down. They do a lot of things.
Man, you try to get our show shut off.
But I said that's on me. That's my opinion. And so they can ban me from ever coming back. So, but that's my opinion. And I'm sticking with it.
So I was trying to there's a dispute, Mike, because Southern has won 19 conference championships.
Yeah, but most of those were under Pete Richardson, I would say, and
they ain't winning on 19 under Pete Richardson.
Well, no. I would say most of them was on the A.W. Mumford, and
Yes,
then
sir.
that was back when. I don't think Alcorn and Jackson State was even in the SWAC when A.W. Mumford won those.
I'd have to let me see when they won it in 37, 38, 40, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 55, 59, 60.
See, we didn't even come into the SWAC until 66. I don't think
66, they won in 66, 75, 93, 97, 98, 99.
There we go.
230.
There we go. From 1960 up until 1990, they won 2. You can say 63 and then 1990.
What do you mean by that?
They had a 30-year stretch where they wouldn't win.
30-year span.
That is that's a drought. 30 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So well, they can brag that, hey, look, we the reason that Jackson State got rid of one of their coaches. We the reason.
You think so?
Huh?
No.
That last championship they won in 13. Hold on now, and got quiet.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying that they can boast it. Hey, look.
Well, I'm gonna ask Rodney this question: do you think Jackson State got rid of Cummings because of the Southern game, or the way Alcorn whooped up on them in 2013?
I don't think either one.
Okay.
Is really the reason. Okay. That y'all beat us, right? We lost the game. So in some way that there is an impact there. But I think there was some internal things going on that may have contributed more.
So our job here is to put you on the spot. Now you don't want to be on the hot spot, but I got a question for you on that very subject right there. What side of the fence were you on? Don't turn us off now.
I don't remember.
Okay. That gives us our answer, Mike. That's our show right there. That answer right there is our show.
I don't remember exactly what I was thinking back then. I know one thing. You have to be careful about firing people because it can come back to bite you. Because he went down the valley and came back and beat us. Yep. So that was our penance for a guy who came in, won us the SWAC championship, and then we dismissed him.
Well,
bless her, we're outsiders, so we're gonna look at it like this. Alcorn beat them that year and Southern beat them this year. It's time to fire the coach.
The two rivals that they have got both of them got them that year. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you go 7-4 and you get fired. So you can make an argument that those losses must have been really hurtful.
Yeah, you can make an argument of that.
Yeah.
But right, he did get you out to the SWAC championship game that year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he beat Grambling. Was that Grambling? That was Grambling. The championship that Comedy won.
Right. The one, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna stick with I don't think it was just that simple.
It never is.
Never is.
It never is.
Yeah.
So when you let somebody go, it's never just that simple.
Right.
So there are some other contributing factors that a lot of people from the outside have no idea that's what's going on behind the closed doors and behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was I won't say it was good news for us. However, it was an opportunity for us to sit back and just smile.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah. So y'all just had a couple of years prior to this year of smiling, right?
Yes.
Until the last game.
Yeah.
Y'all had that opportunity. That's something that a lot of other schools wish they had opportunity to do. But like Mike just references, only a few teams that's been there.
Mm-hmm.
Who are those teams, Mike?
Alcorn, Jackson, and Grambling.
There you go. Nobody else.
Nobody else.
Nobody else.
Yeah. Well, the game ain't that old, so we're gonna reserve pulling out our crown until we win, and we dominate. We win back to backs.
Right.
You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
I referenced that because Mike was talking about back in the day, there were only a few teams winning the championship. So that's why I brought that back. It's still today we just talking about it, but it's still the same teams.
Right.
Fine Bluff won it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was in the COVID year. Oh no, they beat us.
Yeah, it beat y'all in Birmingham, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you had some teams to win it since the inception of the SWAC championship game in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe Alabama A&M won it once or twice. I think maybe
Alabama State.
You had Grambling. You even had Texas Southern, Prairie View. Prairie View is not the Prairie View of old. You know.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Texas Southern hadn't made it quite back yet.
Right.
They keep threatening, but
how long they been threatening?
Well,
see that? There you go. You don't even know, do you?
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Well, I mean, when I say threatening, like last year, they made a step forward last year, and it seems, I was anticipating that they may even move closer to the top this year, but it hadn't proven out.
Yeah, plus Body is out for the year. But I'm gonna say this too now. Valley is the only school that hasn't won a SWAC championship in football. But at the same time, when you look at Valley and Texas Southern, those are still considered fairly young schools. I think both of those schools just really came about in the mid-50s. Am I correct on that?
Valley just celebrated their 70th.
Okay.
Last weekend.
Yeah, so that's the 50s.
Yeah, that's the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Texas Southern is the same. So, I know Alcorn began football. They just did their 100 celebration a couple years ago. So I think they started football in 1921, and I think Jackson State actually started football before Alcorn. So,
Jackson College.
Yeah. We had the Iron 13 back in 1900 something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rodney Phillips, I've enjoyed my time with you.
But you know what? The year that we started football in 1921, we beat Jackson.
You see that history buff right there, don't you, Rodney?
Okay.
You don't want to stay on the call with him too long. He'll go back in your Soul Train history book. He'll be pulling out stuff like Don Cornelius on you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, catch me when I was breakdancing.
Yeah, Rodney though, man, to the good days, the good stories that we used to talk about up at the
golf tournament.
golf tournament, man.
Yeah, I missed that.
I do too. I do too.
Mm-hmm.
I
So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Your nice shirt is blue and white.
No. Man, my wife couldn't be able to blue and white shirt. I get up and go to the other room.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, you know, she a Jacksonian, so hey.
Okay. Well, that's some love in blue and white. Yeah.
I love.
Man, the Thorn, my grandson is an Alcornite. Huh?
That's a smart young man.
Yeah, and Rodney can attest to how smart he is. So
yeah,
he can't deny that one.
I can't deny that. He's an intelligent young man. But you know what he said to me? He said, I've been around Jackson State all my life. I want to see something else.
Yeah.
But he's right. And it's my fault. Because I've been taking him to Jackson State since he was
right.
You know, he's
old enough to hold his head up, huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
So
what's his experience at Alcorn? Maybe that's a question we should ask him rather than you, because you might not.
Say again.
I said, what is his experience at Alcorn? Maybe that's a question we need to ask him, because we don't know if you're going to tell us.
Well, you know, my best friend, that Alcornite.
Yes.
Yeah, he been working on it all this time. Yeah. Buying him Alcorn shirts. And I'm not afraid to visit Alcorn, so we've been to a lot of games. You know that.
Yeah.
We've been to a lot of games at Alcorn.
We gotta get back to the trophy ceremony.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But right, can you imagine what it would be like, man? If because the stage is kind of like set, but can you imagine what it would be like if Alcorn and Jackson were playing for a SWAC championship?
Oh yeah, that would be tremendous.
Yeah, that would be crazy. We
probably could fill up Memorial Stadium.
Yep. Yep, fill up the reservation.
Hey.
So that's a good one right there. So Alcorn gets home field. Would you be out there picketing with something saying, hey, look, this need to be in Jackson? It can hold more people.
No, because I know what the Alcorn has to offer in a game as a game host. Yeah, it's beautiful down there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was a good answer. We want our own money. We ain't scared to come down there.
I
know you ain't scared now. I know you ain't scared. We have to try to make sure our pockets get what we supposed to get.
There we go. Now,
hey man, I had to call it as I hear it and see it. Oh, okay. All right. All right.
The Jackson State rivalry is it's a big rivalry, but it's such a big family rivalry too. You got so many families that went to both schools. You got so many husbands and wives. You got so many sisters and brothers. Man, they hate each other for that 4 hours, and after the game, they back together eating fish. So
yeah, you talk about sisters and brothers. I had a sister. She's gone now. She's deceased. But we have the same birthday, 1 year apart. And she's a graduate of Alcorn State.
Wow.
She was a good lady. She was a good woman.
Yeah.
Ain't no doubt.
Yeah.
We're right. When she was living, did she rub it in on you?
that was, I never lost the Alcorn. Do you know that? Did you know that? Hey, my redshirt year was we beat Alcorn, and then my 3 years participating, playing, we beat Alcorn. So I never got the experience, a Brave looking down at me.
All right, Mike, it's time to go ahead and.
Well, see, he gonna make me pull out those record books now. I gotta go back. You can't believe everything Jack Stone can tell you now.
Yeah, man, check it out.
Well, Brother Phillips, we enjoyed our time.
Yeah.
Enjoyed having you. You're always welcome back to SWAC Then. I don't know. We ain't gonna bring you on no SWAC Now. We talking about then. We ain't talking about now.
Okay. Look at that. You see that?
Hey,
right. 52.
Before you go, man, right quick, what's your prediction for the outcome of the season between both teams, Jackson and Alcorn? How you think the outcome is gonna be?
Oh, Jackson State gonna win.
You think they're gonna win the SWAC?
No, I can't say that because we have to. It's not left up to us. I think we'll do our part, but I don't think FAMU gonna do their part because they gotta lose.
Y'all gonna do y'all part this weekend in Mobile?
Yeah. You
sure?
I'm as positive as I can be without having foresight.
Okay, without you actually going out there playing.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, I'll give you a call. I got your information, so I can give you a call after the weekend is done.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'll be ready because I'll be victorious.
Okay.
Y'all go something.
So are y'all playing up to y'all competition, up and down to your competition? Would you say that?
No, I ain't gonna say that. I'm saying that this 4-game stretch that we had was brutal.
Okay.
It's brutal. And especially for a first time head coach and a team under renewal and transition as we are. I think that that Texas State game really took a lot out of us. We lost some kickers during that week. So
y'all lost kickers. What were they doing?
Huh?
How did y'all lose kickers?
One was injured in practice, the other in the game. So I don't know the status if we'll get them back or not. But we had, as a result of that, we had the first female to ever kick in a SWAC game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I won't say nothing on that.
Yeah, we adapt and overcome.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Y'all got in the press too.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all adapted and overcame the press. So go ahead.
Yeah. We won.
Right. So I'm saying, you said that, I wanted to get off of this thing, but I want to ask you about this. You said y'all had a difficult schedule, your first 4 games.
Mm-hmm. On the road.
Okay.
We played Sunday and came back in FAMU on Sunday in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And then came back with
an expectation was to win that game, right?
Our expectation is to win every game.
Okay. All right. So Texas State game.
Yeah, we had an expectation to win.
Okay. The next game y'all played Southern.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all expectation was to win. And then last week y'all expectation was
we played Southern prior to Texas State.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out, Southern ain't no brow beaters. Bethune-Cookman ain't no brow beaters. I want to know where the tough stuff at. Where the tough stuff
is you on the road all this time, and you playing.
But no. You just said your expectation was to win. You saying your expectation is to win. Is that just a statement or is that the truth? Does that sound good when you say that?
That's a frame of mind that you go into.
Okay.
You have in every
a frame
game
of mind that you have. Okay, I got you. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you don't believe you can win, you won't ever win.
Absolutely. You go to Texas State, You going there, your expectation is to win.
To win.
Okay. I get that. Sounds good. Sounds real good.
Better than sounding bad.
You know, it sounds good. However,
better than a sharp stick in that.
Southern ain't who they supposed to be or were expected to be right now, this early in the season.
Why is that? Because of
that's
the
probably
L's.
A good question for some Southernites.
Yeah. Well, it's mainly because of the L's on their schedule, and one of them we gave them.
Well, did they have a tough road to go?
I have no idea. I can't answer that for them.
So did Alcorn State have a tough road to go?
Well, now I've seen Alcorn play.
Okay.
I know what their issues are.
All right. So you hear that, Mike?
I hear him. But
he was a volunteer coach at Jackson State.
but we got some expectations for him in November too. So.
Right.
Okay. I'll tell you this. Let me say this. I ain't scared.
Never are.
Hey, y'all see that blue jersey right there?
Mr. Brazil in behind you back there?
Man.
Yes, sir.
Is it signed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's signed. I was there. Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, Mike, you see that jersey?
I see it.
Is that's a Tennessee Titan jersey? I mean, a Houston Oilers jersey?
Houston Oilers.
Okay. What a Jackson State jersey at, dog? $32?
Yeah.
That's you, ain't it?
That's me.
I'm talking about Robert Brazil at Jackson State. That's the jersey I'm looking for.
Yeah. Well, that's his representation in my throne room.
So
he probably got a Steve McNair jersey in there somewhere. He just ain't sure.
Well, you know what? To be honest, if I had gotten a autographed jersey from Steve McNair, it'd be hanging in here.
Yeah. I thought you had one. I thought you had bought one though, man. I thought you got one.
I didn't buy that one.
Okay.
I didn't buy that jersey. Yeah, that was given to me by Robert Brazil.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I thought you had gotten a Steve McNair jersey.
Yeah.
That Eddie had up there.
No, I didn't get one. Mm-mm. But if I had known.
Yeah.
Well, Rod, I was going to ask you about what do you think that Jackson State is going to do the rest of the year? What their record going to be?
Mm-hmm.
Can you share that after you tell me who this guy is right here?
let me get the schedule there. Okay. We got Alabama A&M this week. Oh, that's me. That's a young Rod Phillips. Man, wait, that's the Cardinal. I'm a Cardinal on that, huh?
Yeah, you're a Cardinal on that.
Yeah, that was surprising. I wasn't looking, and when I looked back, I saw it. Wow. See, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of difference. Yeah. Alabama A&M, we'll win this one. Alabama State, that's homecoming. We got to win that one. Gap Valley, Pine Bluff, Texas Southern. Well, I okay, I don't want to say this out loud, but since you asked me, I think our next real test is going to be November 18th.
Alcorn State?
Yeah.
That's your next test?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
good
know.
luck with that one.
I think Alabama A&M gonna put up a pretty good fight. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. You know that quarterback.
Quincy Case.
Yeah, Quincy Casey. He used to be here, so he's probably gonna give us his A game. Yeah. Yeah, and I think Alabama State's gonna be tough too. Whoa, man, where you been? Get all these.
Who is that cat right there? Number 32.
Yeah, that's a real young Rodney Phillips.
Yeah, man, that jersey mighty clean. That must have been your red shirt year.
That's picture day. That's picture day. That's that's clean. Mm-hmm.
What stadium is that in, Rodney?
That's in Memorial Stadium. No, wait a minute. Yeah, that's in Memorial Stadium.
Looks like Memorial Stadium.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ain't nothing else you can come up with now. I know that's the answer.
I don't want to embarrass your wife, so I ain't gonna put nothing else up there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm saying the real season is just about to start. Because we got some tough games. Those Alabama teams are going to be tough to get by. I believe we can do it. I believe it. And I hope we don't play down to our competition when we get to Valley and Arkansas Pine Bluff. And like I said, I had expected Texas Southern to be on the come up this year. So I think they got it. That got talent. They don't always play up to it.
So, Rodney, what I want to do is I like to bring you back at the end of the year, and let's have this conversation at the end of this year. Because when you said the two Alabama teams, then everybody else, you ain't said nothing. You didn't say nothing about Valley until now. You just mentioned, I hope we don't play down to our competition when you got Valley and Pine Bluff. What about them Braves, dog? You said nothing about them Braves on the tail end of that on the 18th, you said?
He said that's going to be the next biggest test.
I said, I said that's
what he said. But in this last little statement, he didn't mention the Braves. He just talked about.
I already gave the assessment. I didn't give the assessment on.
Oh, you didn't want to repeat the assessment, is what you're saying,
right?
You don't want to give us double credit. You just give us credit one time, and that's it.
I'm not a Brave.
Okay. Well, you're gonna need to be brave on the 18th. There's one Tiger that's gonna have to be brave on the 18th.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Well, Rodney, as we close out, man, we would like to thank you for coming on and having this appearance on SWAC Then SWAC Now. Man, it was greatly appreciated.
Well, I am like to say I am very honored that you chose me to be a part of this telecast, not telecast, but blog. And as much as the SWAC is ingrained in me, I love the SWAC and all the schools that participate. And Alcorn is my distant second love.
Distant second love.
Yeah.
I never heard it put that way, but okay.
You take it, Mike.
Yeah, I'm taping it.
Well,
second love.
We're gonna let you out on this, Rodney. And Mike, you can probably play the outgoing. So Rodney, tell me what you think about that right there.
Oh, we. That's bad, Tiger. Hey, that's all right, man.
You like that?
I like that. Yeah.
Good deal.
Well, Rodney, thanks for coming on, man. And
Yeah.
we're gonna close this thing out, and we're gonna call you back in at the end of the season.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Deuces.